Hi, this is Vicki Romaine with Cheerful Greetings, and today we're going to do an old technique with a new twist to it. I've put a piece of wax paper on my working surface here and taped it down so we won't be moving around. I've cut a couple pieces of cardstock at 3 1/4 by 5, and that will be what I use for my main image. Today we will be working with equate shaving foam. I'll probably be using the word foam and cream alternately back and forth. Okay, I've shaken this up and I'm going to be putting just a little bit on my working surface here. Next, I'm going to put some acrylic paint. This is just the plain ordinary acrylic paint from Walmart, the inexpensive kind. I'm going to put a couple drops of green on it. I'll put the names of the colors underneath the tutorial. We'll add a little yellow. And I'll probably add just a little bit of blue. Okay, I'm going to take my palette knife and just kind of mash it down a little bit, the foam. I don't want to mix it up very much. If you will notice, when I'm working, I like to put my colors in clumps rather than blend them out to marbling. I prefer that. I've made a couple cards that I'll show you later that have been marbled by spreading the ink out more. But this one, I'm going to make in clumps. Okay, I'm going to take my palette knife, and when there's some color, a particular color I want, I'm going to use it to put it on. Then I'm going to scrape my paints. Now I will be taking my heat gun and it will dissolve the foam. And as it dissolves the foam, it will draw up the paint into patterns. So I'll do that and come right back after I've dried my my shaving cream. Okay, I'm back now because I know you really didn't want to watch paint dry. So here's my card, and if you'll notice the pattern, it's got patterns in it because I put the heat gun fairly close to it, and it made the foam dry up, and then the paints did the same thing along with the foam. Now, next thing I'm going to do is, when I had those pieces of cardstock cut into the 3 3/4 by 5, I had some strips left over, and this is what I'm going to do with it. And you need to do this along the same time that you make your the main part of your card, because if you don't and you come back later and decide, oh, I think I'll put use those same colors, you will probably not have the exact same proportion, and so it won't really be the same, and it won't match your card. Okay, I've got my strip here, and I'm going to just lightly touch it with my palette knife, and again I'm going to go and let paint dry. Give me just a few minutes. Okay, now that I have my strip dry, I have cut it to fit my mat. And we will see what happens next. I'm going to put these over here to the side and take up my wax paper. Using the wax paper makes it easy to clean up. The only thing you have to watch is whether or not you have a hole in it because of the heat gun. It might have made a hole. What I usually do is kind of wipe it off because I've got some residue from the wax paper. I have a washcloth and a designated towel that I use solely for crafting. Okay, we now have my card. I've got my mat. I've got my base. And I've got my strip. Strip turned over on me. Okay, first thing we're going to do is put the mat on. Glue here. I'm kind of running low on my glue. I would say it's time to make a trip to the craft store, wouldn't you? Okay. Got a little dab of glue at the top there, but it will be covered up. Plus this glue dries clear. If you notice, my paper is wrinkled from using the heat gun. So after the card is made, I will probably put it under a book for a couple hours, and you'll never notice that it was wrinkled. Okay. Looks nice with the green mat. Now I'm going to take my strip. This time I'm going to use my adhesive gun, and because it's the exact size as my strip when it comes out. Looks like I had a little bit of green there that had not dried completely. Whenever I want to go at the very edge of something, I usually use my glitter glue. It goes under the edges because of the nice point that it has. And that way you don't have to pull up the whole thing if there's a spot that doesn't glue. I'm going to do the same thing with my card here. Since I'm running low on glue, at least my rubber cement. Okay, let me get my washcloth here. Get my little glue. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'll just use this glitter glue because it's just as easy as the tape dispenser. And I can hold it in my hand, and if there's something that's still not quite dried, it won't go down on my work surface. It'll just go in my hands. But, so what I'm going to do is put this little strip, I'm going to give it a little space from the edge, put it down like that, just as an embellishment. Okay, and see, if you do your strip at the same time you do the base card, the coloring will be the same. And if you will look, I've got all sorts of pulled paint because of the heat gun. Okay, next thing we're going to do is embellish my card. And I have a couple of ideas, and I think I'm going to go with that butterfly. Well, I don't know. Kind of like this one. Either one would do. This is a sticker, so we'll just take the easy way out and stick her on here. Just like that. And she shows up nicely on the card. Okay, now, here is my card. I'll wait and put the top in my glue later. Now, I want to show you some cards that I have made previously, and it'll give you some ideas. Here's one. This has the single strip too. The butterfly is uneven, so I put glue on this side and it popped out on that side to make her balance. This one, she has a woman with a double strip. This one I have not done anything with, but I marbled it more. I don't have as many clumps. And I have a couple more here. I'm not going to explain that. One that's kind of marbled. Here's one that has clumps, and she's on cardstock, so I put pop dots on her. And then this one I like, it's marbled, and I just put a dragonfly on that. And here's a couple more. And this one I kind of like. I may use this around Christmas time. Just happens that the colors are kind of on the Christmas, but it could be used at any time. I hope you enjoyed my technique, and we'll try it out. As I said, I kind of like having my paint in clumps. You may not. You may like to have yours marbled and not in dimension. So try this tutorial out, and I hope you enjoyed this one. If you will, please subscribe, and don't forget to come back again. Happy crafting day. Bye.